one name that is doing well is ICICI Bank. And Nayantara, you just get a sense that this entire saga of what's happening with the new CEO is coming to an end. What we can pick up from an ET exclusive is that there is a board meet which is going on, and there could be some changes in the interim CEO.
That's right. Saloni Shukla from the Economic Times had reported this big exclusive story, how the board is certainly mulling a change in the top deck, and that the ICICI Pro chief, Sandeep Bakshi, may be the one that's going to fill in Chanda Kocher's shoes. Remember, Chanda Kocher has reportedly been on leave. A few weeks ago, Pankaj, if you recall, a committee, the board for the first time talked about looking into all the allegations. We heard on Friday how a former Supreme Court judge is going to be looking into all of this, and we will be tracking that board meeting very, very closely. If indeed Sandeep Bakshi is going to be the one to fill in Chanda Kocher's shoes. I already told you how a former Supreme Court judge is going to be investigating this, that it's Justice B.N. Sri Krishna. So clearly this is a developing story, but if you look at the stock market and the stock price, Pankaj, it seems as if the market is giving a thumbs up to the fact that Chanda Kocher may be on a way out.
Absolutely, Nayantara. If you just, markets are giving a thumbs up, but, more than that, there is some sort of uncertainty which goes away, Nayantara, with all this, what's happening. The board's focus is not particularly on the business that much as, it used to be in the normal course of business, and all those things, do matter. And that's why, probably it's been taken as a positive news, 3.5% higher. Let's actually listen in to Saloni Shukla of Economic Times, who broke this story.
We are meeting today. Actually, the board meet is currently ongoing. Two biggest, agendas for the board of directors basically is one, to give a final stamp of approval for Justice B.N. Sri Krishna, who we had earlier reported that he will head the probe committee. So that final approval will come today, is expected to come today. Secondly is the fate of CEO Kocher. Remember that she is on her planned annual leave as per the ICICI Bank. And as per my sources, she was supposed to join today. So we had also reported today, in fact, that the ICICI Pro CEO, Sandeep Bakshi, is expected to take over as the interim CEO. So while, our sources tell us that the matter is still being discussed by the board, it is possible that some sort of direction will come from the ICICI board regarding what will happen to CEO Kocher, because the probe will start very soon, and there's a law firm to be appointed, there's an audit firm to be appointed, and whether Justice Sri Krishna would like to have Chanda Kocher as the current CEO sitting, and when the probe is going on, that is really doubtful. So it could consider an interim CEO, and that information or announcement is also expected. So these are the two big things that we're watching out for.
That's the details of the Economic Times report, and Saloni Shukla, who broke the story right here on your channel. Let's take this forward with Shriram Subramanian, the founder and MD of InGovern. Thank you so much for joining us here on ET Now. Good afternoon. What do you make of this development? Would you say it's better late than never? But isn't it surprising that the same board that was, gave a clean chit to Chanda Kocher, finally decided to set up a committee which was going to be being led by a Supreme Court judge, a former Supreme Court judge, and even before that investigation completes, we now understand that there's a successor that is being considered?
No, definitely the board has not covered itself in glory by handling this situation in a very, I would say, very haphazard manner. And they could have done a better job of it. For one, instituting a investigation on day one itself. Two is possibly sending, even telling the markets that the CEO has gone on leave when the investigation is being conducted. that would have at least had some reputation. Otherwise, now the board is sort of backdoor way. They are sending her out on leave, and then it is not clear whether. And then the company put out that she has just gone on an annual leave, which was pre-scheduled, and it's not clear now whether she's going to come back. So investors are left at large. I mean, second guessing, and have to rely on media reports rather than a straight and dry answer by the board. So from that perspective, the board and the company have definitely not played out or done, from an information perspective, informed investors as to what is the exact status of the way things are panning out. So, for example, even when she went on leave a couple of weeks ago, they could have told that she's going on a permanent leave, and that would have possibly at least sort of altered some of the narrative. And two is even appointing Justice Sri Krishna. Maybe they could have done it at that time, or they could have announced after they found Sri Krishna as an investigator. So net, the only positive is that Justice Sri Krishna seems to be a totally, independent person, and hopefully will have the independence and the necessary information to conclude this one.
Yeah, he's going to be, in fact, looking at data privacy as well. Sorry to interrupt you over there. Sorry to interrupt you there. I wanted to also ask you about, while ICICI is now in damage control mode, which is getting a thumbs up from the street, today the ICICI stock is having a good trading session on the back of this story that there will be a successor that could be in the offing for Chanda Kochhar, the announcement likely soon. It's going to perhaps be the ICICI approved chief. But the larger story is also how the RBI and the government have been passing the buck to each other. The RBI has now gone on to say it cannot even audit every branch. It's not possible. It's not autonomous. The government says it's the RBI's responsibility. The government nominees have not been attending these board meetings. Neither has the LIC chief. It's one big mess. Do you think that this is a classic example which now needs, which has thrown open the window for needing further regulation?
Definitely. See, first of all, what is the need for a government to have a nominee in a private bank? And two is the board has to also do its duty beyond what the regulator has put in place. And then when something blows up, the regulator has to quickly step in. It cannot pass the buck, in this case RBI, to the government. Then what is the need for a regulator at all? The regulator has to step in and then at least take action on what the board is doing or not doing. And in this case, there is no point in RBI passing the buck to the government. The buck actually stops with the board, and if the board is not performing its duty, then it goes to the regulator.
Right. Shriram, also, I wanted to understand that, this is the best case solution possible. Till the time investigation is going on, appoint an interim CEO who is an insider, who is, from the ICICI group from a long time, the name that we are picking up from ICICI Pru. So this could be the best solution since the time this investigation is going on, because nobody knows. It may take 6 months, it may take 12 months, till the time you have the entire investigation report.
No, why would this is not a? This investigation can be conducted in a time-bound manner. Why would it take 6 months or 9 months or 10 months, especially if it's done by somebody like Justice Sri Krishna rather than an investigating agency like CBI or whatever? And so I don't see the need for such a prolonged one. Two is, I am just hopeful that even when they have an interim CEO or a permanent CEO to replace Chanda Kochhar, it shouldn't be that they bury the report subsequently. The report should be made public, and the details of the report should be stark and put out in the public domain. Otherwise, it would be like she's going on a permanent this one. Whatever the findings be, if it's exonerating her, so be it. If it's indicting her, so be it. But whatever it be, positive or negative, the details should be in the public domain.
Right. Let's just focus on the other issue as well, which is going under the corporate India. So one, of course, is what's happening with the CEO and the transparency over there, which is a case of ICICI Bank. The second is what's happening with the auditors front. Do you think for a lot more mid-cap, small-cap companies, these auditors could resign and there could be some problems which could come in?
Definitely. For once, the auditors are actually looking at financials that the companies are presenting to them. And so, for sure, I hope the auditors put the pressure on management to be more transparent and disclose as to what is the true picture of the financial statements. Whether they resign or not, I'm not for the auditors just resigning. Auditors would rather sign off on the statements stating that this is the information that they did not receive and these are the issues they see in the financial statements. That would do investors and shareholders a great help, because auditors are not answerable to management. They are answerable to shareholders, and that message should go to the auditors, and the audit profession should think that their primacy is to shareholders and they are answerable to shareholders, not to the management, though the management sort of selects them. But beyond that, their appointment is by shareholders. And to that extent, I think just resigning is not doing anybody a favor.
Right, we're going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us. This is certainly a developing story. ICICI Bank being in damage control mode. Let's see if it plays according to script and a new successor is announced to Chanda Kochar.